Hi, I'm Trina, and today I'll be taking you to my form of escapism by taking you to the wild side of my mind through this digital screen. Digital screens have been my world lately, as there isn't much else for me to resort to, obviously, due to the pandemic we're in. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride to my mind in the wilderness. The coronavirus pandemic has given most of us the time we never thought we would have. Amidst the pandemic are opportunities for video games to take up time and maybe even cope. Let me bring you to the wilderness and tell you about the increase of indoor activities to entertain, cope, and keep busy during the crisis. There has been an increased rate in video games due to people in quarantine. May Reyes, 29 years old, says, "I've been playing Animal Crossing because there's not much else for me to do in quarantine. Plus, it's addicting. I've played so much to the point where it feels like I live through my villager." One of the video games trending during quarantine is Nintendo Switch's Animal Crossing: New Horizons. It was released in March this year, right when the coronavirus stay-at-home orders were going into full effect. In Animal Crossing, you can basically make your own world. According to a report released on March 17 by Verizon, American video game use has increased by 75% since social distancing guidelines were put into effect nationally. By April 9, Verizon announced that number jumped to 115%. A big chunk of that was a release of Animal Crossing. A few gamers I've spoken to say that Animal Crossing, The Sims 4, and a bunch of phone games have kept them going in quarantine. These games are also a good alternative to socializing, but also obeying social distancing protocol. I get to hop onto different people's islands and sometimes leave gifts if they're my friends, Reyes says. There have been proven negative side effects of staying in quarantine for a long period of time. Studies have shown that the effects of quarantine has impacted a person's mental health due to its duration, anxieties of the virus, boredom at home, and inadequate information and supplies. 3 studies showed that longer durations of quarantine were associated with poor mental health, specifically post-traumatic stress symptoms, avoidance behaviors, and anger. Although the duration of the quarantine was not always clear, one study showed that those quarantined for more than 10 days showed significantly higher post-traumatic stress symptoms than those quarantined for less than 10 days, according to multiple doctors in the review of the psychological impact of quarantine. According to Inverse, Sarah Sloat mentions PhD student and author of the psychology and video game series Platinum Paragon, the reason why people are so invested in video games, especially now. The first is the fact that video games are immersive and interactive experiences. Second is the fact that video games have historically been stereotyped as a waste of time, but now we seemingly have a lot of time. This time can be spent indulging in something we've perhaps been made to feel guilty over. Thirdly, video games keep us connected with our friends and loved ones. We're lucky enough to have a robust video game industry that can connect us with so many people. Now that a lot of us seemingly have a lot of time, Animal Crossing sounds like a great idea.